Good evening. Welcome back to the channel. Escape from Tarkov wiped a couple of weeks ago, somewhere at the end of December. And that means new wipe, new patch, 0.13 in this case. And that means that there are new gunsmiths around. That we have to do. They have made some changes this time, so it's not just a copycat from last wipe. So we'll have a look at those. Previous wipe there were 16 available, now we have 22. So that's quite a lot. At this moment in time, I have my traders, most of them on level 2, which is going to be a bit of a problem for some of these builds. So we'll see what we can do. We'll start off with having a look on the hideout, and the reason we do that is because when it comes to gunsmiths, you want to be able to work with your edit presets and go from there, or at least with your modding screen and so on. That means you need to have a workbench at level 1. So if you go to your hideout, make sure as a new player that you have your workbench level 1. I think you need 2 bolts, 2 nuts and a multi-tool. So you can find some bolts and nuts out there, tool boxes, technical crates, you can find those things. And then you have those ready. And then you go to mechanic, you click on special equipment, and he has that multi-tool. You can just buy it from him. And then you have workbench level 1. What does that mean? That means that you can now right click on your gun and you can click on modding. And then it will show you all the parts that you have available in your stash somewhere for that gun. If you right click on it and you go edit preset, then it will show you all the parts available that you have ever examined. You might not have them in your stash, but as you can see there are way more than when I did the modding screen. Edit preset is what you can get. Once you are level 15, then you have flea market available, which means you might be able to purchase some parts from other players. If you go to the flea market, you can find a lot of weapons and weapon parts and all that stuff over here on the left. Functional mods, gear mods, vital parts. Some of them will be barter trays and all that kind of stuff, but we will see. Let's start off with gunsmith part number 1. That is a shotgun. It's an let me see if I can get a stock one. That would be nice. Okay, there we go. So this MP133 shotgun you can get from Jaeger. He sells it. In the beginning of the wipe it was out of stock. Meanwhile they added a barter trade for this thing. I think it's 1 buckwheat, one of the new items. Let me see if that thing is still available. If you click on your trader and you click on these double arrows here, then you can see the barter items. It's quite important in this, because a lot of these stuff here you're actually going to need. Like for instance this D-lock here could be very expensive on the market, and you just need 4 batteries to get your hands on it. It is needed for gunsmith part number 22, for instance. But as you can see, the shotgun is still available for Jaeger. I think it's level 1. Yeah, it is level 1 Jaeger. So everybody has that available. When you start the game, you just examine everything that is in here, in all these traders. That will put you on level 2. And then you go to mechanic, the tasks, and it's going to show you gunsmith number 1. There it is. No, that's not gunsmith number 1. There it is. Gunsmith part number 1, you accept that, and when you accept that you get introduction, which means you need to go to Woods map, find the Jaeger message and hand it over to mechanic. And when you do that, that will unlock your last trader, because Jaeger is locked when you start the game. So make sure you go to Woods, pick up the message, come back, and then you can, in theory, if you have a buckwheat, which you should have, because I think it's actually in the starter's kit, this wipe, then you can trade it for that shotgun. This is now a bit of a long introduction, but that's sort of how you can start with your gunsmiths. So you have this thing, and then he sends you a message with all kind of explanation, and as always with these gunsmiths, he's gonna ask for sometimes specific parts, but what he definitely will ask for is always he will ask you about ergo numbers and recoil numbers, sighting range sometimes, weight sometimes. So here on the left, when you do the edit preset, that's pretty much what I've done now. Is, let's say I bought a shotgun and then right click edit preset, then you come into this thing here. And here you have info here with a little arrow. If you click on that arrow, then it opens up a menu which you can move all over the place. Let's put it over there. And it will show you ergonomics. That's the ergo number that he always asks for. And then it will ask you for a certain number of recoil, which is the vertical recoil and the horizontal recoil. Those two numbers you need to add up to make sure that you have the numbers that he asks for. So in this specific case, gunsmith number 1, he wants 47 ergo, 850 recoil or less. He wants a tactical device on it, and it needs to be 4 slots or less. And that's a bit of a problem, because this gun as it is now, that's already where the first problem starts. It's 5 slots. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take up this stock here and we're gonna replace it with a pistol grip. That makes it go from 5 stock to 4 slots. And then we need to bring up our info again, because now ergo is fine, we have 50. He also wants an extended mag. That's not something you have to worry about, because there is a 6 round in here, which is an extended mag compared to the 4, which is like normal, I guess. So nothing that you have to worry about. But we have a problem with our recoil. If we add up the vertical and the horizontal recoil, it goes over 1000, so we need to bring that down. So we can do that by putting on, for instance, the Remington, but you will not be able to get your hands on it. So what we're going to do is we're going to put on the cylinder, and on the cylinder we're going to put on the GK02 muzzle brake. The cylinder you can get from Jaeger level 1. The pistol grip you can get from Jaeger level 1. So that is all fine. The GK02 is the Jaeger level 2. So if you start like me, I'm level 2 now on most of my traders. Let's say you're level 20 and you start your gunsmith, then you should be able to get a lot of your parts available. If not, if you want to start this on, let's say, the first day that you play these gunsmiths, then you're going to have to find this GK02 muzzle brake. The rest of the equipment is fine. We have this wooden rail here, we are not there yet. Our ergo is fine, but our recoil is still too high, so we're gonna have to put on some foregrip, which makes it that we can get a little bit of recoil reduction. To be able to do that, we have to replace this wooden stock and replace it with a plastic one. You can get this from mechanic. I think it's a barter trade, if I'm not mistaken, for mechanic, and then you can get this level 1 mechanic barter trade, and then let's have a look. I'm not gonna do this every time, but just for the first one. So you go to your guy here and you put him on level 1, and then you click on the double arrows for barter items, and it will show you there it is. It's 1 hard drive, and you can get the MP133 reel. For every new player you can do that. If you have a hard drive, you find a hard drive in a computer or something on the map, you can barter trade, and he will give you this thing, and then you can make it. So pistol grip on it. You want the cylinder on there with the GK02. You do the barter trade with mechanic with the plastic thing. He wants a tactical device on it. You can just go for the what's it called, the TBL, the tactical blue laser LEM model. You can get that from skier level 1, so as a new player you can easily do this. So the tactical device is on there. We have shortened it with the pistol grip from 5 slots to 4 slots, so it is 4 slots or less. That's what he wants. We still are not there. We still have 854 recoil, which is 4 too much. So that's why we put on the plastic rail, so that we can put on a one of the 4 grips. You can go with something like an RK6 from Zenith. Skier level 1 makes it available. That should do it. 700, 830, 840 something, which is less than 850. There we go. The tactical device is on there. We have a muzzle brake on it, which helps us a little bit with the numbers. We have a foregrip on it, which helps us a little bit with the numbers. And the pistol grip will make it Gunsmith part number 1. Pretty much completed. You turn it in, and then we have a look on the requirements. And then you're good to go. Apparently for level 2 Gunsmith, you need to be level 5. So other than that, no problem. And then he will send you a message again once you are hitting level 5. And he wants an AKS-74U. We'll go with the stock one. There we go. So that is this thing. You can buy this from Propor level 1, if I'm not mistaken. Let's see what he wants from this. He wants, specifically he wants the B11 handguard on it. That is this thing over here. There we go. We put the B11. You can get that from, I think you can get it from Mechanic and you can get it from Skier. Skier sells it for like 5,000 rubles or something like that. So that is that. And he wants a 60 round mag. As a new player, that's where your problem gonna come in. That is the 6L31. That is the 60 round mag. This is gonna be your problem. You can craft it in lavatory level 2 in your hideout if you have that thing on level 2. If not, you're gonna have to find it, or you're gonna have to wait till you have completed ice cream cones, where you need to turn in 3 of these things to Propor. And by doing that, as a reward, he will unlock this magazine as a barter trade. If not, you're gonna have to wait till you're level 15 and have flea market, and then you can buy it from the players. So that is also a option. And that is all he wants. The 60 round mag and the B11, but then of course he comes up with numbers again. He wants 58 or better ergo and 550 recoil or less. 100 meter sighting range, not something we worry about. We already have 500 meter sighting range. 3.5 kilograms, we are 2.8, that's fine. And 6 or fewer cells. I think that's fine with this. If not, you can always fold it before you turn it in. I think it's fine like this. So we obviously we only have 50 ergo. That's our problem here. So let's see. We put on the vertical pistol grip, which is something you can buy from Peacekeeper level 1. Then we have 57. The recoil is 550, not something we have to worry about. We have 350, we are 200 below, that's all fine. So we just need to get the ergo. We still have one slot open here, which is the RP1. I think you can buy it level 1, if I'm not mistaken. Charging handle gives you +1 ergo, or you have the CSS, which gives you +3 ergo. Those are your two options. You might have one of those parts laying around if you found them, or check your AKs. If you found some AKs on a scav or something, they might have it sometimes. Just take it out of there and put it in this one. Let's just go with the RP1. There we go. Gunsmith part number 2 completed. You will see the name change here. If I make the numbers correctly, then it's gonna change to one of the presets that I have, so that it I know that it's correct. We have 58 recoil, that's exactly what he wants. We have less than 550, so this is it. The RP1, the B11, and the vertical pistol grip is what we put on there, and then the 6-round mag. Other than that, we didn't do anything with this gun. This is exactly what he wants, and he can have it. Gunsmith number 2, complete. Now we move on a bit, and level 7 you need to be as a player, and then you get Gunsmith number 3. Bit of a problem here, probably for most people, unless you start late with this Gunsmith, then it's not going to be a problem. You have an MP5. I think you can get it from Peacekeeper, if that hasn't changed yet, for a bunch of brown knives, 8 I think. You can get one of these things, but this is definitely not what he wants. He specifically asked for a 50-round drum mag. That's where your first problem is going to be. That thing you can get, there is a barter trade, but I think it's level 2. Let me quickly check that. Yeah, it's a level 1 barter trade with mechanic after you have reached level 2 with him, which means you need to be level 20. And it's also a Peacekeeper level 2 barter trade. So if you have Peacekeeper on level 2, I think that's level 14 you need to be able to do that. If not, you need to find this thing or get your hands on it from the flea market. But yeah, if you have flea market, then you're level 15. Then you can as well do the barter trade with Peacekeeper. So that's one of your problems for this build. Other than that, he doesn't want an MP5, he wants an MP5 SD, so you're gonna have to convert it to an SD. How do you do that? Pretty much with 4 parts. You want the MP5 SD receiver on it. You can use the normal stock, that's fine. You want the MP5 SD handguard on it. You want the MP5 SD suppressor on it. And then the numbers are not what he wants yet. He wants 45 or more ergo and 200 range and 200 or less recoil. Yeah, also keep the rear sight on it, that will give you 200 range. So the range is fine, but now we are recoil is fine, but the ergo is probably a problem. Oh yeah, the problem we have is he wants a tactical device and we can't put it on here. And that's why you need that 4th part, which is the SD3 rail mount. You need to put that thing on so that you can put a tactical device on. We use the TBL again, why not? There we go. That is Gunsmith number 3. So yeah, this is a bit more complicated for new players usually, because they sometimes you don't have these things examined. That's why it's always advisable to wait till you have a flea market. If you have the flea market available, one of the first things that you do as a new player is you go to that flea market and you check a few of these weapon parts. You check all the suppressors and you examine them on the flea market. You check all the pistol grips, the foregrips, the handguards, things like that, so that you have them available and that you have more options. Like for instance, if I click on here, if you're a new player, you're probably only going to find the normal MP5 mag and not the 50-round drum mag, because you haven't examined that unless you have found it on the map, of course. So that's always something you can do once you hit 15 and hit the flea market. Usually what I do is immediately go in there, examine all the suppressors and the pistol grips and stocks and handguards and foregrips, potentially also sights, so that you don't have to examine all that stuff once you're in the game, because that can also get you killed. And next to that, it helps you for instance, gunsmiths, if you have more and more things examined. But this is pretty much Gunsmith number 3 completely built. So you have a normal SD and a normal M5, and you convert it to an SD. Change the receiver, the handguard, the suppressor and the 3-rail mount. That's pretty much it for Gunsmith number 3. Then you might have to wait a little bit for Gunsmith number 4, because I think you need to be level 14. And this is a new one for this wipe, at least. It's a carbine. The OP-SKS, pretty much. You can get this from Jaeger, level 1 I think. You can buy it for about 33,000 rubles. But you have to do a few things with it. Let's have a look at what he wants. Nothing specifically he asked for. He just gives you a bunch of numbers. 35 recoil, 35 ergo or more, 350 recoil. He wants a scope on here. He wants a magazine with a capacity of 20 and he wants a silencer. Now we already know that there are some problems in such a way that the wooden thing is not going to give you those numbers. You're never going to get there. It's too much recoil. So we're going to have to change the Tapco interfuse you have to use, because with all the rest we tried and we couldn't make it, which suddenly makes it a bit of a different look. I think we potentially could make this saw, but I'm not sure yet. The Tapco buffer tube we can put on there, and then obviously he's gonna ask for something. Let's put the saw on here for now. That might actually work, and then we're gonna have to put it on a stock at some point. We will see. He wants a magazine with 20, so we're gonna have to put a long magazine on with 20. And he wants a silencer. There are a few options here. You can either go for the hexagon SKS, that's one option, or you can go for the adapter, and then you can put on a couple of options as you can see, but you want a silencer, so then only the Zenith DTK is available. This is actually a cheaper option with the adapter, and the DTK from Zenith is a little bit cheaper than going with the hexagon. The hexagons are going pretty expensive on the market. And then we're gonna need to have a look on the numbers, of course. 35 ergo is fine. We have 40. He wants a scope on it, so we're gonna have to put a scope on there. And 350 recoil we need to make work. We are definitely not there yet. We have still 500 or something recoil, so we're gonna have to get some work going on here. One of the options is over here. You can put on the it's probably the cheapest option, because I think you can get it from level 1 Prepor, is the USP1 scope thing. That is a scope. A hollow sight, that's a sight, that's not a scope, so you have to need something with a little bit of range. And this is probably your cheapest option, is the USP1. So then you have a scope, that's all he asked for. He doesn't ask for a specific one. And then we just need a stock on it, I think, to make the numbers work. If you have examined a bunch of them like I did, then you can pretty much put on whatever you want, as long as your numbers are correct. Let me see, what's this here? iCup. iCup can give you a bunch more ergo if you want that, but I don't think we need it. Let's see what else we can do here to make this work. Yeah, we can definitely put on potentially a foregrip if we need one, but I don't think we do. Maybe we do, we will see. We just need one. Let me put on these DS150, see what we get here. 314, that's definitely, that's a bit overkill, I think. What else is cheap? The M4 standard stock, you can get your hands on there. Does that do it? 340, 38. Yeah, that also does it. So yeah, there are a few options here for your stock. Just make sure your ergo is 35 and the recoil added up is 350 or less. That is pretty much the build. You can use another stock. If you have another stock available, just make sure your numbers are correct. I don't even know what I used. This one maybe. Let me see, 300. Yeah, then we have definitely more ergo. That's already a good one, I think. Also fine, will also work. Let me have a look. I think I have a preset done. Let's see how I build it. I'm sort of building it on screen so that you can see what's going on. There we go. Oh, I used the rip stock. That's what I used. But it doesn't matter that much as long as your numbers are correct. Other than that, the build is exactly the same. You do not need the iCup. You can get +5 ergo from it if you want, but you don't need it. So don't bother with it. Other than that, adapter, DTK, you can see this is pretty much it. The stock, you have options. Whatever you have sitting, just make sure you have 350 or less recoil. We have 340 with this stock. So that was a new one that we built it. Then once you are level 15, which also means you have flea market from now on, you will get a new message from Mr. Mechanic, and it's a shotgun this time. Remington M870. I think Peacekeeper? Is Peacekeeper? I think it's Peacekeeper who sells it. If not, you need to be level 15, which means you have flea market. You can just buy it on the flea market. It's probably cheaper, some of them. He wants a tactical device on here. He wants any foregrip, and he wants the M870 Magpul handguard. Pretty much. So the handguard, the MO870, that's the Magpul MOA. That's what he wants. And then the rest is about numbers again. 500 or less recoil and 60 or more ergonomics. What we're going to do is exactly the same as with Gunsmith number 1. We're going to put on the cylinder and the GKO2. Meanwhile, you can just buy it. We are level 15. That also means that Jaeger is on level 2. If you have done enough quests for him and spent enough money with him at least, you will have him on level 2, which means you can now just buy this GKO2 muzzle brake. So not something we have to worry about. But we still have a problem with our numbers. That means the handguard, by the way, is mechanic barter trade. If you do this in the beginning of the wipe, it might be out of stock because everybody is building these things. But eventually you will get your hand on it. But that's the cheapest option, is to barter trade it with mechanic. And the same goes for the stock. We're gonna have to change the stock, otherwise we're never gonna get to our numbers. So we're gonna have to put on the, I think it's the M870 stock, this one. Also a barter trade with mechanic. As well, the handguard as the stock are what we need to have. Meanwhile, we have 57 ergonomics, which is closer to 60 than where we need to be. And 500 recoil. The recoil is fine. 300, 420, 435. Definitely less than 500. So we just need to get a little bit more ergo. Which we can get from pretty much... yeah, if you have one of these M-locks, but those are pretty good. We probably don't need that. So what we're going to do is we're going to put the M-lock rail on it. Also barter trade with mechanic. Don't spend money on it. You can barter trade with mechanic. It's for something cheap. We'll have a look in a second what these things, because these things will always come back. The M-lock 4.1 inch and the 2.5 inch you very often need for your builds, so we'll have a look on it. We need to get 3 ergo somewhere. Vertical pistol grip, for instance, from Peacekeeper. It's gonna give you +7 ergo. That makes it 64 already. And the recoil is 445, which is definitely less than 500. We might also need... Can we put it on here? No, we can't. So we put also one of these 2.5 things on there, because he also wanted a tactical device. So we go for the TBL laser again. There we go. That doesn't change anything on the numbers, but that is something. Yeah, it's gonna cost you 1 recoil or something, 1 ergo, but that's about it. So this is pretty much it, I think. You can also use something. That's what I did. I think I used the RK6, something like this. Anything that gives you more than 50 and less than 500 recoil, more than 50 ergo. That's what he wants. I don't know, 60 it is, but it doesn't matter. 61, 64, 63. Yeah, if you choose any of the better ones, then you even get more from it, but it's not needed. So just go with what you have. Let me see what I did in my presets. Let's see. Oh, I used one of the M-locks that I had sitting. But other than that, it doesn't matter. Gunsmith 5 is done. That also means that you will be blocked now. He will send you a message, something like, "Thanks for turning this in, this number 5. I will see you tomorrow," or something. What does that mean? That means you are locked for 21 hours. This is something that's going to come back after number 5, after number 8, and there are a few more. We will come back to it when we are there. So you are now blocked for 21 hours, and then you will get the next one if you have high enough level, obviously. But I'm assuming you did. With this you needed to be level 15, the next one is level 16, so it's only one higher level. What do we need? An AKM, apparently. So level 6 Gunsmith is an AKM. From here on it's gonna get a little bit more complicated, I'm assuming. It's about a trade, I think, with Prapor for 3 Tuchonkas, or you can just buy it for 43,000. You can also craft it. I think it's lavatory. You can craft one of these, or workbench. You can craft one of these if you want. You can definitely get your hands on this gun. Nothing specifically needed. Let's see what he wants. 60 durability. Yeah, that goes for all these guns. Your durability needs to be 60, otherwise he will not accept it. I think there are even 1 or 2 which needs to be 80. It's not something I worry about. I always get my guns new 100% for this thing, at least most of the time. Might be able to use some of them from the scavs now, because they have made some changes. They are not as broken as before anymore, these scav guns, so you might actually be able to use one of those things. If you have one of them with like 90% durability, that's also fine. Then you can use that to turn it in. He wants less than 350 recoil, 40 ergo, 800 meter sighting range, a silencer, a Fortis shift tactical grip, and a 30 round mag from Magpul. Let's start with that. That is, I think it says Gen M3. That is the Magpul mag. that he wants on there. So that's already done. And now nothing, oh yeah, the fourth is shift grip. Which means we're gonna have to play around with some of these parts, because yeah, we need to have a Fortis grip here. You can't put a Fortis grip on this wooden stock, so we obviously going to have to make some changes here. Few options, whatever you have examined. Yeah, we just need a grip here, so something like the AK100, the RS47, all the rest is a bit better. But if you have something sitting which you do not immediately need, you can use that. But you should be able to do it with the AK100, I think. That's the cheapest option. You can get it from the traders. It's not that expensive. The shift grip, on the other hand, that's a different story. I think it's Peacekeeper level 4 is the only way to get it, and that's buying it, and it's not a barter trade. So you're gonna have to find it. Because it's this thing. It's quite expensive. So that is specifically what he wants, and then the rest is I think that's it in theory, but then we're gonna have to mess around with some stuff to make these numbers work. 40 ergo, the ergo is fine. We need 800 meter range and 350 recoil for this one. We have 370 something recoil, so that's definitely what you could potentially do is put on a buffer tube. That makes it 351 recoil. But we also need the range. How much do you need? 800 meters. And we need a silencer as well. So yeah, let's take this off for now. We'll see. You can get the DT hybrid, for instance. It's not that expensive. You can buy it from Skier, I think. And the hybrid 46 is, I think it's mechanic level 2. It's a barter trade, I think for 4 ram bars or something, instead of spending a lot of money on it. That of course kills your ergo quite a lot, and we need to get 40 or more. So if we put on the buffer tube, let's see what we get here. 36, 310, 320. The recoil is fine. Oh yeah, but we need a range as well, right? If we're gonna have to put on a scope here, it's gonna kill it. We can't do the buffer tube. We're probably gonna have to do something else. Let's see. We need to put on something here, so this needs to go. The rear side needs to go because we need to replace it. You can't put on a dust cover here, rail, because then it's gonna conflict with this part. So always have to take this off, and then you can change something. Whatever you have, the Bastion is probably your cheapest option. Or you have to come with a sighting, but what do we need? 800 meter range? There are some options. You can use the Spectre, quite expensive. It will give you 800 meter range, but it's also gonna kill your ergo, so there might be some other options. You can, for instance, go 800 meter we need. Yeah, you probably need a compact. Might be a little problem here. The compact up there, and then you can use one of these Tragicon ACOGs, the black one or the tan one, or you can go for the Prism. That also gives you 800 meter range. You can use the Spectre and not use, that's also 800 meter range. Those are all the options, but we definitely need to find some, whatever you put up here, it's gonna kill your ergo, so you have to find some ergo now. The recoil is meanwhile fine. We have 310, 318 or something. We need 350 or less. That's fine. But we need to find some ergo. This is going to give us 3 ergo or 1 ergo, depending on what you choose. Let's put on the PT1, something like this. 36.5. The saw will probably do it. Something like this. 41.5 ergo. That's good enough. We needed 40. This is, for instance, one option. You can use other pistol grips, obviously. If you have them, you might have some other options. Let's see what I did. Pretty much this way, I think. I'm just showing you that there are more options than just copying whatever is on the wiki, because we will come to that in a second. For instance, on part number 12, that is a bit of a problem. With what we're doing, AKM. That's pretty much what I just built there. Oh, I used the PT1 here. I think I used the PT3 earlier, but it's all options. You can use the Spectre, you can use the compact with the prism, you can use the compact with the one of the Trigicon ACOGs. They're probably cheaper. Sometimes this one is cheaper. Whatever is the cheapest you put up there, as long as you have 800 meters range, it's fine. You can probably do it with this. Let me try this. So we had this wooden stock on here. If I put on the buffer tube, so we keep the wooden stock. Yeah, you can do it like this as well. You can just put on the buffer tube, which is probably the cheapest option. Then you don't have to go for that adapter with the PT1, which is quite expensive. You use a thing, and then we are now below 40, but that's fine. With the RP1 charging handle in here, which you can get from Skier or something, you give you +1 ergo. If you need more ergo, if you have chosen another option, you can get the CSS, it gives you 3 ergo. So there are options here. You can just keep the wooden stock and just put a buffer tube on it. This also would work no problem. It doesn't specifically ask for the PT1. It doesn't also ask anything about have to fold it or whatever. So I think this would work just fine as well. So you just put on the buffer tube. That's probably the cheapest option available. And it's good and go. Let's move to Gunsmith 7. According to the wiki, you need to be level 15, which is quite surprisingly, seen for part 6 we already needed to be level 16. So I don't think the level requirement is up to date for part number 7. Here we're gonna run into a few problems though. Part number 7 is a problem. You can buy this from Mechanic. No, from Peacekeeper. You can buy it. I think it's $800 something, or you can barter trade it with Peacekeeper for I think it's 3 CPUs and 3 CPU fans. I think something like that. So this is a standard M4. Let's see what he wants. The biggest problem of all probably is the 60 round mag. We want a silencer and that's it. Nothing specific of parts. We want 300 recoil, 47 ergo and 800 meter range again. Here we are again. Let's start with the range. You can keep this charging handle, but then you're gonna have to do what we did earlier. One of the Trigicons. You can use this one, or you can use the black one. Works all fine. Whatever is the cheapest, or you can use the prism. They will all give you 800 meter range, which he needs. So that's there. You already have 3 options. We want to put on a gas block here, MK12 or the GS, to get that ergo up a little bit. What else does he need? A silencer, I think. Yeah, he wants a silencer. Here you might have a problem, although I think they made it available now. Is that thing available? The what's it called? Because I'm thinking about new players. You have the RG from Windham. I think it's mechanic level 1. Because the MK12 is, I believe it's locked behind the quays now in this wipe. They have changed that. It was normally, this was available level 1 skier or something, or level 1 peacekeeper or something, but they have changed that. So now usually you have to use this RG block. So that's also an option that you could use. If you have your hands on the GS, you can use that one. There are all kind of options that you could use. This one you can get from mechanic, I'm pretty sure, and it gives one more ergo than the other one. So whatever you need, if you need one more ergo, it can be choose a different gas block might be your option. But to get the yeah, you need the mini monster, don't you, on this build? Which means we need the Warcom thing, whatever it's called. I don't even have it in here. Can we use this one? Yeah, we can. Okay, whatever. You need an adapter so that you can put the mini monster suppressor on it. You can use this one. You can also use the Warcom, but for some reason I don't have that here. Probably haven't examined it yet, so I definitely have not used. I used another one. Where are we? 43, 220 recoil. Anything else specifically that he needs? Nope. No specific parts. So the rest is all about the numbers of ergo and recoil that we need to make work. Which means we're gonna have to use a another handguard here, because we need something to bring these numbers up. These are all quite expensive, so you probably have to go with the Magpul. You have this one. I think it's also available in black, but I haven't examined that yet. So this is an option. And then it's about numbers again. 47 we need. We have 44 and 300 recoil. So we need 40. We need 3 points more, and we need the recoil is fine, I think. 260. Yeah, the recoil is already fine. So we just need to find 3 points of ergo somewhere. So you can go, yeah, if one of these M-locks, if you have them sitting, that will do it. Or you can go with the with this one, and now we have already 50 ergo. But of course, we need that 60 round mag, and that's where our problem comes in. They have taken the 60 round mags from the flea market, so you can't buy it. Which means you're gonna have to get some raiders, labs or reserve, or need to get them some rogues on Lighthouse. They sometimes drop the 60 round mag. That's one way of getting it. If you use the drum mag, it's gonna kill your well, first of all your weight, I think, but also your ergo a lot, your recoil a lot. So yeah, then you're gonna have to play around with pistol grip and other stocks to make the numbers work. But it potentially could. You probably also need a better foregrip then, in case you do that with that 60 round drum mag. You have the flat 60 round, but that is, I think it's Peacekeeper level 3 barter trait. So you need to have Peacekeeper on level 3 before you can do that. That's also an option. Another option is you completely ignore the 60 round and you go for the 100 round. Which is not blocked on the market, and that is also more than 60, and that also works. But then you're gonna have to play around with some decent stock and pistol grip to make your numbers work. But it is pretty much what I did. I tried to build it normally. Let me see. I think I have both options available for you. So these numbers should be fine, I think. 47 and 800 range, 3.8 kilograms. We are 3.7, just under it. 47, we have 49 recoil and 300 recoil. So we have 260. So this is an option. So you can go with the vertical pistol grip, the Mini Monster, the Magpul handguard, the rest I showed you earlier. 260 millimeter barrel is also something you need. I think it's 370 millimeter on the stock M4, so you're gonna have to buy that 260 millimeter rail. The stock you can keep, I think, or replace it with a DS150 or something cheap, and the standard pistol grip as well. This is the option with the 60 round drum mag if you have it, but because you can't buy it, that's the problem. Now, if you go with a 100 round mag, you have a bit of a problem though. Then you're gonna have to come up with some better stuff on the stock and on the pistol grip. This is an option with the 100 round mag. Same Mini Monster Magpul handguard. The M-Lock 4.1 is about to trade with mechanic, all these little rails, and vertical pistol grip, still the same, the sight still the same. I put in the carbine buffer tube, and then I have a CTR black stock on here, and then the pistol grip, one of the FSR's one. You can also use the black one. The black one is going to kill you to Ergo, I think. Yeah, so that's a bit of a problem. And then over here you go for the Raptor charging handle. Not the stock AR-15 because that you need more Ergo. Otherwise, this Raptor charging handle, the charging handle is always something that will give you 1 or 2 or sometimes 3 Ergo. So if you go for the Raptor, then you can build it like this with a 100 round mag. The recoil is 260, that's less than 300. Ergonomics is 50, that works fine. So you need 47 or something. And 800 meter range is fine, and all the rest is fine. So this is a build with a 100 round mag. And if you use the black one, it's still fine, 48. If you use... Yeah, the Grell is a bit overkill. Can we use a saw? That's the question. It's usually a cheap one. Probably not. This is not good enough. It's one of the cheaper ones, but that's not good enough. Also not good enough. Yeah, you're gonna have to go with a pretty decent... This one just works. The Magpul AR-15 just works. That's just gonna give you 47. So that might just work. So yeah, if you go with the 100 round mag, you need to improve your stock and your pistol grip, no matter what you do. Because that thing is gonna kill your Ergo. And you also need to change the stock charging handle to one of the Raptor ones. Those are your options for Gunsmith number 7. If you don't have 60 round mag, then you can build it with a 100 round mag, as you could see. You need to be level 17 according to the wiki for Gunsmith part number 8, which is an AKS-74N. AKS-74N. I think Propor sells them, I think. And if I'm not mistaken, this is the Zenit build. So he asked for a certain amount of recoil, 250, 65 ergonomics, 10 or fewer cells, and all the rest pretty much needs to be Zenit. So all Zenit parts. I'm having a look. Any specifications about the Mac? Yeah, he needs the AK-12 Mac. So yeah, there is no other option than actually choosing that one. The AK-12 30 round Mac. Here we go. Let's start with that, and then all the rest needs to be Zenit. Did he ask specifically for this? Because I'm thinking there are options here. You can do the B10M B19 upper mount. That is Zenit, but I think he specifically asked for the B30 thing, if I'm not mistaken, for number, what are we meanwhile, number 8. Everything Zenit. I think he also asked for the RK0 specifically, because you have a few options here, going from RK6, 5, 4, 3 all the way up to 0. I think he asked specifically for this two parts here, the B30 handguard and the RK0. We want the DTK1 on here from Zenit. That's also something that he wants. What he doesn't ask for is the dust cover. But it is also the B33 is the Zenit, because I think that I tried it with the taking this off and then put the Bastion on, but that did not work. He would not accept it. So you also need the B33. Although he doesn't mention it, it all needs to be Zenit. Which means the pistol grip is RK3. If you can't get your hands on here, there is a barter trade with mechanic. I think it's 1 roller and 1 golden skull. You can get a PP19 Zenit build complete gun from mechanic for a barter trade, and that one has the RK3 pistol grip on it, in case you cannot get your hands on it. If you just do a lot of stash runs and you have a lot of golden skulls and rollers, then it's not a bad trade actually, if you have those things sitting right. Otherwise it's quite an expensive one. But the PT74S and PT1, PT3, I think you can choose whatever you want. It might be the foldable one, because it was also something with slots, I think, that he wanted. 10 or fewer cells, so I don't think you need to fold it. So something like this probably will do. And he didn't even ask no, he didn't ask anything about the range, so we don't even need a sight on it. We do need a flashlight though. Specifically asked for the 21KS or whatever it's called, this one here. So something like this, and that should give us 65. We have 67 and 250 recoil, and we have 229. Something like this will do just fine for Gunsmith number 8. Let me see how I build it. Probably exactly that. Seeing there is not much choice here. Seeing it has to be Zenit. What was it? AK-74. Yep, this one. Yeah, pretty much exactly. Yeah, I think he asked specifically for the B30, the RK0, the DTK1, and that's it, I think. And then, oh yeah, and the flashlight as well. He asked for the flashlight as well. The rest he doesn't mention, but he specifically says all Zenith parts, which means that you also need the pistol grip and the stock and the dust cover to be all Zenith parts. And that's pretty much it. Just like number 5, after this one you are locked. He will say, thank you for this build, I will see you tomorrow. In other words, you are locked for 21 hours again after this one. And then we go to number 9. It's a new one, by the way. Let me check the requirements level wise. 19, level 19 you need to be for this one. It's a pistol, the P226. That's this one. There you go. What does he want? Let me see. He wants the stainless elite slide, the stainless elite wooden grip. He wants a 20 round extended mag. He wants a tactical device, 610 recoil, 80 ergonomics. That's about it. So we want some stuff on here. The elite slide, there it is. The elite pistol grip, that's this one. That's what he specifically wants. He wants a 20 round extended mag. That is this one. Comes a little bit below here. He wants a tactical device, which you can just put here. TBL probably will do just fine. And then we need to look at the numbers, I guess. 80 or more ergo, we have 82, that's fine. And 610 recoil, and we have too much. That's a problem. Which means we're gonna have to bring that down. Yeah, rear shroud's not gonna help us much. So we're gonna have to change this 112mm barrel to a thread barrel. And then we can put on suppressor or something of that sort. Whatever gives us the numbers, I guess. Do we need to make it suppressed? I don't think so. 85. Can use this TJ custom compensator. I think he actually specifically asked for that, if I remember correctly. Don't see anything about it on the wiki, but I think he asked for this particular part actually when I sent him when he sent me the message. This gives us 609 recoil, which is just one below what he wants. 80 ergo, we have 82. So yeah, this is pretty much the build. Yeah, I think he asked for this specifically. The TJ's custom. Don't see anything about it, but I'm pretty sure he asked for it. What was this? 9, right? Let's see. Task completed 9, wherever it is. Stainless grip, sight, extended mag, and a flashlight. But you need to make it work in such a way that otherwise... I thought he asked for the specific part, but I guess not. Let's see. There we go. You need it for your recoil, this part, but he didn't specifically ask for it. So, which means you probably can also make it suppressed if you want, as long as it doesn't kill your ergo or your recoil. It's fine. So this is number 9. Number 10, you must be level 20, which means you also have mechanic on level 2 now, in case you don't have that. Level 1 is exactly the same as last wipe, I think. It's Gunsmith number 10. It's an AK-105, and I think in the previous wipe it was also Gunsmith part number 10, if I'm not mistaken. There we go. Not so much about this one. He comes up with some numbers, 38 Ergo, 800 meter range, 4.8 kilograms, 8 or fewer cells, which is not a problem with this one, because apparently it doesn't check it, which means what it pretty much does is you might have to change the stock to a foldable one if it was a problem, but he doesn't check for it, so you can ignore that one. And it needs a silencer and it needs a 60 round mag. That's it. Nothing specific. He only wants a 60 round mag, so you need a 6L31 mag, and then the rest you can play around with whatever pistol grip that you have. I use the US Palm because I just happen to have one sitting in my stash. 800 meter range. You can use that compact here with a prism. You can use the compact with one of the AKOGs. You can just put on the Spectre. Will also give you 800 meter range. Will also not kill your numbers. Still 38 recoil. The numbers are still fine. Ergo and recoil. So 800 meter range. You have options. You can go for the Spectre. You can go for the compact adapter, and then put on one of the AKOGs or the prism or whatever it is that you have sitting, which gives you 800 meter range. And also here you have options. This is a cheap option and it does what it needs to do. If you have any of the other ones sitting, you can also use them. They will give you some less recoil, some more ergo. There are options here. Whatever you have sitting. Don't always just you really need to learn this short, more or less. Just see what he asks you for and then give it what he wants, the specific parts, but the rest you can play with whatever you have sitting. Sometimes I see people like buying 80,000 ruble parts on the market while they have a pistol grip sitting that works just fine. You have to that's the whole part of this gunsmith thing is to actually work with what you have and learn all these numbers and such. Pretty much. So yeah, whatever you have sitting you can use as long as your numbers are correct. The only thing specific he asks for is a silencer. I use the hybrid. Also here you have other options. You can use the hexagon, that's also a silencer. You can use the PBS, that's also a silencer. You need to, of course, make sure that your numbers are correct. And with the DT hybrid, which is pretty cheap, the hybrid 46, I think it's 4 rams with mechanic, it's a barter trade for the suppressor itself. So yeah, this is probably one of the cheaper options. I don't even know, let me see what the wiki uses the saw pistol grip, for instance. But normally, you normally have to put on this adapter and the PT1 stock, which is foldable. Because I think the gun is 10 slots, I think. So you actually need to fold that so that it's 8 slots when you turn it in. But apparently there's a bug in it and he doesn't check it. Now, if he doesn't check it, then you don't need to spend money on these parts. Then you can just use the stock and you don't need to fold it. Because he doesn't check it anyway, he will accept it for number 10. No time lock here, so we can go to number 11. What was number 11 again? I think... Is that the Vector? 11? Yeah, 11 is the Vector. The 919 Vector. Let's see what he wants this time. $200 recoil, 50 or more ergonomics. He wants a sight on it. He wants a silencer. He wants a tactical dynamic skeletonized foregrip, and he wants a big stick 33 round magazine. Let's start with that. 33 round magazine. You can get that from Skier, I think. So that's that one. 200 recoil, 50 ergo. Ergo seems to be fine, but oh yeah, it wants a sight on it. The problem that we have here is that by default this thing comes with a 5-inch barrel. And we need this MK5, which he specifically asked for, a MK5 modular rail thing. It gives a conflict with the 5-inch rail, which means you need the 6-inch rail. And then you can put on that, oh my god, that MK5. And he doesn't like it with the sight either, or whatever. Which means we're gonna have to adjust this. What is it that he doesn't want? Oh, these little side things probably. Yeah. Something like this. This is a big problem. Especially on the market, it's a big problem. Because this little MK5 thing only works with a 6-inch barrel, and with the 5-inch it doesn't work. So which means you need to get your hands on the 6-inch barrel, which is a problem. Not available on the market. People are not available. That by that I mean there are people asking ridiculous barter rates. You can't get your hands on it. And the same for this MK5 mother thing. This thing, I think it's Peacekeeper level 3 or something, or Skier. You can get it for like 2,000 rubles or whatever. But if you are not there when you try to do this build, you have to pay the most ridiculous prices. But not in rubles. Senator tape keeps. I saw all kind of crap. It's always these same idiots with these barter trades. If you come up with new builds, Mr. Nikita, then make sure that some way there is a barter trade for this available at some point. And then you need to make the numbers work, which means you can put on some other stocks again. That's why you use this non-foldable adapter thing, and then you put on whatever it is that you have available. Let me see what I did with it. Oh yeah, the tactical dynamic thing you also need to put on there. So this MK5 thing and this tactical dynamic foregrip are the things that he asked for, and the big slick. All the rest are things that you can play around with. He asked for a silencer. We used the Osprey 9 here. Used for the sight. One of the cheapest one is the Cobra. So we put that on, and then the adapter, and I used the carbine with the DS150. If you have something else sitting, that will also work, but they're already, it's not needed. The DS150 is one of the cheaper options, and you get your numbers the way you want them. Only thing specific here is the MK5, which also means you need the 6-inch rail because it doesn't work with the 5-inch, and then the tactical foregrip and the, so these three parts here in a way. That's what it needs. The rest you play around with, as long as your numbers are correct, it is fine. This is part 11 pretty much complete. Then we go to level 25 you need to be for part number 12, which is a MPX. And here's where the problem came in. Let me have a look. I'm gonna go with a stock MPX. It's an SMG, SIG MPX it's called. Okay, am I blind or what? I think so. Oh, there it is. here, nothing specific that he wants, give or take a few parts. He wants a tactical dynamic pistol grip this time, not the foregrip. He wants an annihilator and a Lastec 2 flashlight. Those are the 3 specific parts that he wants. So he wants this thing here, the annihilator, the tactical dynamic grip this time. Okay, wonderful. That's this one. And what was the other thing? Oh yeah, the flashlight. So yeah, whatever you have, the Lastec 2. That's this thing. No. He put it on the other side. Yeah, whatever. It's on there. So that's what you want, and then the rest is the numbers. And that's where the problem comes in. 52 ergonomics and 300 sighting range. Ergonomics is fine. 180 recoil, that's where we have a problem, so we can't make that happen. So we're gonna have to change a few things. So I had a look at it and I thought, like, you know what, I'll use the 10.5-inch barrel. That of course means that you need to put the annihilator back on there. But then it was still not fine, so then we're gonna have to put the MPX M6 stock pipe adapter on there, and then one of the stocks available. I don't know what I used. The Baskag stock, I think, something like that. $45, is that still fine? Yeah, 52. Oh, we need 52, so we need some more ergo. The recoil is fine though, if we can get that down with the I don't know what I used. Whatever you have sitting, of course. Let's see what we can get. 52 we need, right? Let's go with an RK4, see what that's... No, that's not good enough. RK1 maybe? Just messing around here. That's too long. 53. We use the Diffions, and here as well the Diffions. That's 55. Pretty sure I made it work somehow. I was playing around with this and I ended up with this 10.5-inch barrel, and that's sort of what I was trying to show you. Is I made it work though, and then I was stuck there. Or did I use just one of the black locks here, something like that? 183. Maybe I use another stock. You can make it work though, that it's exactly 180, I think. And I was working around with it because that's... Let me see. They use an RK1. Let me see what the wiki says, because I went with that first and then I adjusted a bit with parts that I had. Oh yeah, what they do is they change here to the 20 round mag to get these, but then it's still 183 though. Not sure what they did here. We have this TD, we have the RK... Oh, RK1, we need the RK1. Yeah, like this. So this is sort of the wiki build, right? And then you are stuck on that thing forever, because you can't get your hands on that 10.5-inch barrel. I've been stuck on this bloody thing for like 3 days, I think. A 10.5-inch barrel is, I have my traders on level 2, as I mentioned in the beginning of the video. I'm stuck. So the 10.5-inch barrel, you can refresh this here 100 times, nobody is offering it. You can even exclude the barter offering, nobody is offering it. So there seems to be an issue with this 10-inch barrel. Either somebody is buying them all up, or it's I think it's Peacekeeper level 3 that you can get it. So you're stuck until you have Peacekeeper on level 3. Which is sometimes a problem, especially if you haven't done Friends of the West part 1, because then you don't even get quests for Peacekeeper to get them to level 3. So this is a bit of a problem. I was stuck on this for like 2-3 days, so till I was fed up with it. And that is one reason why you don't always go by the wiki, because the wiki says 10.5-inch barrel, and if you don't have Peacekeeper on level 3 you cannot get your hands on it. So shorter barrel is not great, but what if you take a longer barrel? Oh, that's the wrong one. Took me a while to figure it out, but eventually we made it work. What am I looking for? SIG MPX. There it is. 12. Now, what I've done here, you can even get this recoil probably higher if you change to the 20 round mag. Yeah, you can even get it to Ergo almost to 60. So what I've done was I used the 14-inch barrel, which the wiki doesn't mention. He mentioned the 10.5-inch barrel. With the 14-inch barrel, you're gonna have to play around with a bit. You can use the UFG stock foregrip, for instance, and then you change the stock. You put a carbine in there and a DS150. Simple, easy, not that expensive. No problem in trying to get your hands on the 10.5-inch barrel. You can just buy it. It's quite expensive, the 14-inch barrel, 50, 60, 70,000 sometimes. But people are at least putting these things up, and it's still 180, and it's still enough ergo to make this work. I know it works because I turned it in like this with a 14-inch barrel, and that's why you should not always go completely with what the wiki says. But just try around, mess around with these parts yourself. Otherwise you could be stuck on this, thinking you need a 10-inch barrel if you just copy the wiki, and you are stuck till you are Peacekeeper level 3, while you can build this way earlier with a 14-inch barrel. But then you need to play around a little bit. Because it doesn't ask, the only thing it asks for is the tactical foregrip, tactical pistol grip, I mean. The flashlight is still on here, and the illuminator, those are the three parts. The illuminator, the flashlight, and the pistol grip. The rest is all about the numbers, and if you go with the wiki 10-inch barrel, which you cannot get your hands on, then you're stuck. Just use the 14-inch barrel, put on a foregrip which makes your numbers work, and put on a stock which makes your numbers work. I used the MPX MCX stock pipe adapter. I put a carbine buffer tube on it and a DS150 stock to make that work. And over here I just used the Viking tactical UVG tactical foregrip. You can use another one probably as well, whatever it is that you have available. And that made it work as well, and you can turn it in before there is ever a problem. Also here, no time lock, I think. No. We can go to part 13 as long, according to the wiki, you need to be level 18, but I don't think that makes much sense. Because we were already on level 20, I think, for the previous one, so level 13 or Gunsmith 13 is definitely higher than 20. 13 is the what is that? It's the RSASS, isn't it? Yeah. Pop, 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 pop. There we go. The biggest problem with this build is probably get your hands on the gun. You can find it if you're lucky here or there in a crate. I found mine in a airdrop actually. If you have a red flare and you're lucky that it's a weapon one or mixed one which has weapons, then you can get your hands on it. And that's where I found mine. Other than that, no specific part here. He just wants a silencer. And he wants 1500 meter range. That's pretty much it. So you don't have to do much with this. You put the DT on it. You can buy it. DT hybrid from I think Skier, I think. And then obviously you put the silencer on, which you can get mechanic, I think it is, for a couple of RAM bars. You can barter trade for it. That's silenced now. I had one of these M-lock sitting, so I put that one on. You can use this 4-inch rail thing and then put on whatever it is that you have. The wiki uses the mod 3, I think. Maybe you can do it with the... you need to make sure that your numbers are correct, so... something like this, and then that's it. The rest is your range. You just need a 30mm ring. You have the GP one, you have the NF one, you have the KHF one. I think I used the GP, I think, and then you need I think 1500 meter range. So you can use the Voodoo. You can use this one. Yeah, they're all 1500 meter. No, this one is not. You can even use the Razor. Voodoo, the Razor, or the other one. There are 3 options there to get 1500 meter range, and that pretty much is it. So you can do this with this rail and then the foregrip, or I think I used the. Let me see what I used. That's the build that I turned in. Yeah, I had an M-lock sitting, so I used that one. That also works just fine. You do have to remove the magazine, if I'm not mistaken. Otherwise he doesn't accept it, but the numbers were correct, so we turned it in like this. I used the GP Enterprise gas block, the GS, and then the DT suppressor with the hybrid 46. I used the GP ring and the Voodoo and one of the M-locks, and that was it. I turned it in like this. That works just fine. And are we locked after this one? Yeah. After this one, we are locked again for 21 hours before you get part number 14. That's sort of where I am now. I've turned this all of these things in, so I'm sort of stuck now for the next 2100 hours. But as you can see here, I have everything built. 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, and 22 I'm working on it. The only thing I'm missing on 21 is the Reaper, I think, 22. So we are way ahead, and everything is built. Do we have a level requirement for 14? Yeah, level 27 apparently you need to be for the HK, which is another new one. Yeah, you pretty much need to make this thing 10, pretty much. So you need the RSA2 10 suppressor. You need front and rear side the MBoost 10 ones. The LA5B tactical device 10 one, the RVG foregrip, 10-1 with the M-Lock 4.1 rail. Magazine, it didn't need to be a 10-1, so you just, whatever you have, just a standard stand mag for, it's like a M4 mag or something, from a stock M4 you can use. The Magpul 10 version of the pistol grip, and the Gen 2 stock, also the 10 version. And then I think I needed one more point for the Ergo, I think, and I used the ACH charging heel, also a 10-1. So that it's pretty much this build. Should be ready. Whenever I get the quest tomorrow, this thing should be ready to turn in for part 14 meanwhile. So this is also a new one. All the other ones that we built were sort of copies from last wipe, give or take a few, and this is one of the new ones. The OP-SKS on Gunsmith 4 is a new one. The P226 on Gunsmith 9 was a new one, and then this one is also new. And seeing we were just on a time lock, we can just continue now. Just level, depending on the level, of course. Level 29 you need to be for part number 15. Which is pretty much a copycat from last year's build, in a way. The A as well should not be that hard, actually. Probably one of the easier builds, because you can get everything from barter trades. You can get the GL stock, which he specifically asked for, from the R43 rotor pistol grip combination thing here. It's also a barter trade. The 30 round mag is a barter trade with Prapor level 3, I think. The MPEG 15 you can get your hands on. To be able to put it on there, you need a ring around here. I use the B3 Zenith, but there are other options. I don't have any other options available, but there are other options. There are 2 or 3 of these rings, but I don't have them examined, that's why it doesn't show. But I had the B3 from Zenith sitting, that's why I used that. And then the Night Force and its PU, whatever it's called. Horrendous thing. And I think you can turn it in like this. I think the numbers were correct if I'm not mistaken. If not, you can always put on the iCup if you need a bit more ergo. Then you buy the iCup and then the numbers should work. I don't know, I haven't turned this in yet if this was fine, but I think it was. I think we need, what do we need? 33 ergo. I have 34, so you do not need the iCup. But yeah, it's pretty standard, this one. I think maybe a wipe or two ago we needed the iCup, but they have me messing around with Ergo and Recoil numbers on some of these parts. So now we do not need the iCup anymore. So then you just leave it off and turn it in like this. That's for part number 15. Pretty much a copy of what we need. Previous wipes. It only moved. It was not 15, it was, I don't know what it was, 11 or something I think in the previous wipes. Now it's moved to 15. Also here, we can move on, as long as you have high enough level 30 you need to be for the next one, which also is a copy from last year's, which is the DVL, which is bolt action. Probably one of the easier builds. I think there are 1 or 2 quests where you actually get the DVL as a reward. So by the time you do this, you probably already have one sitting. You need a TBL blue laser thing. You need a tactical device, so the TBL from Skier is the cheapest option for that. And other than that, you need 2000 meter range, I think. So you put a 34mm ring on it, and then one of these Night Force 3556 scopes. And that's it, pretty much. Tactical device, 400 recoil, 40 ergo, and that's it. And 2000 meter range. That's all he asked for. We have 370 recoil, so that's less than 400. We have 42 ergo or whatever, which is 40 or more. So yeah, it's fine. This is just fine the way it is. Probably one of the easier builds. You just need to have the scope and put on a tactical device. That's it, pretty much. Probably one of the easiest builds in the whole Gunsmith series. 16 that was. For the 17 you need to be level 31, which is an AK-102. Have a look at anything specific happening there. Oh yeah. There are a few things here. He wants the Magpul tactical foregrip olive drop. That's already the first thing. Don't make the mistake. You also have an AFG M-lock olive drop. That's not the one you need. You need the normal one. Make sure you don't buy the wrong one. That's always something you need to take care of. He wants the Zenith Clash 2U flash drive, or flashlight in this case. The RPK16 buffer tube, so you can't use any other buffer tube in there. A 30 round mag, the C10AK, so that is that one. That's it in there. Obviously on the buffer tube you need to put a stock, so we use the DS150. That's the one of the cheapest options, the Chris Defense thing. It's basically a stock from the Vector, actually, I think. And then we come to the problems. I use the B10 Zenith handguard because yeah, you need something to put that olive drop thing on. So you need a handguard on here, and we needed 800 meter range. So I used the Spectre this time. You can also go for the compact adapter with the prism, or with one of the Trigicons ACOG. As long as you have 800 meter range, there are like 3-4 options there to get 800 meter range. And it wants the biggest problem of all, the CRD, this little part here, the CRD 556. So what you need is the CNC Warrior muzzle device adapter, and on there you put the CQB 556 muzzle brake. That's all fine. And then you need that CRD, the Fur Friends CRD concussion reduction device. Big problem. Completely blocked on the market by these idiots with their Sanitar tape keys, and you get meanwhile where it's going to. You can get that thing though from Peacekeeper level 4. So if you have Peacekeeper on level 4 you can just buy it, but if not, you're completely stuck on this build. Because of this little stupid little part, which everybody's barter trading for now for the most stupidest thing, or required search, try to get your hands on it. You might be lucky if you just find like one guy who puts it up there, if you just happen to be there, but yeah, it's a bit of a problem. Same for me, this whole gun is already built, I just missed that one little part. Which is Gunsmith 17, so this is blocked again. Not by time this time, but just by the fact that I can't get my hands on it until I have Peacekeeper on level 4. Or just have to be lucky that somebody drops it on the market and I just need to be there at that moment. But and then to get the ergo high enough, you might need a charging handle. RPK1 might not be good enough. What are the numbers that you want? 70 or more. So yeah, the RP1 is not good enough. So you need the CSS because that will give you +3 ergo. The RP1 only gives you +1 ergo. This one gives, you get to 71 with this charging handle, so this is pretty much the build for Gunsmith part 17. And then we move on to 18. You need to be level 33 to get that thing going, which is the AKM. Also pretty much copy from last year, I think. This, pretty simple, is built for me, like this, and I just bought every part of it on the market. So this pretty much, everything needs to be black. You have the Magpul tactical M-lock black one, not the gray one, the black one. The Magpul AKM handguard black. The AS1 hybrid sight black, because you also have a 10 one. Make sure you get the black one. I used the Bastion here to put it on there, but you can use one of the other ones, PDC or whatever you have available to put it on. We just need a rail. I used the Bastion, that's the cheapest option. The Zukov S black as well. I think it also has a... Isn't there a 10 version or something? I think there is actually. I used the black one in, and the Magpul again pistol grip. Also here black. I think there's also a gray one, so make sure you also here have the black one. So it's all black parts, and the HHS hybrid one is something that is specifically asked for. The same with the handguard and the foregrip, I think. Those are the specific parts. It all needs to be black. This is pretty much the build for Gunsmith 18. And then we are locked again, I think. Yep. After this one you are locked again for 21 hours. But if you are level 36 or higher, then you will be able to do 19 the next day, pretty much, which is also a new one with a bit of problems here and there to get some parts on it. But yeah, by that time you're level 36, you need to be to do this quest, so you can probably get your hands on most of the parts. I'm trying to do them now while I'm not even 30, so it's a bit of a problem. What are we looking, marksmen? The SVDS. It's also a new one, it's not available. As you can see, it's a red, and the reason for that is I'm missing one part. So this is pretty much the build. It specifically asks for the SIG MK1 chassis over here, so that's what I put on here. It wanted a suppressor, I think, so you need the threaded adapter, and then you can put on the R43 7.62. It wanted specifically this scope, I think. So you put the 30mm range with the 2442 FPPP. I think it specifically asked for that one, so that scope went on there. And I think it also asked for this Monstrum Tactical Vertical foregrip, so we put that one on there. And the Gen 2 black, I think it needed to be. So you need the SVDS adapter here to get it on there. The Magpul AK pistol grip, the Gen 2 stock, and then the problem for me is this custom cut dust cover. So the dust cover over there where you put on the ring with your scope, that seems to be the problem for me. Not being level 30 to get my hands on this thing. This is another one of those not available on the market or ridiculous barter trades. All the rest I could get my hands on, just not on that dust cover. And if you want to get your hands on it, let me have a look. It's mechanic level 3. So yeah, you indeed need to be level 30. if you just want to buy it. But if you want to do this earlier, then you're gonna have to I think I'm level 27 or something at this moment, but I'm doing all these gunsmiths already, and yeah, this is now at this moment my problem. Either I need to find that thing or be lucky that I can grab it on the market here or there. It's the only part that I'm missing for this 19. And then we go to 20. But that's for now. I'm temporarily building them because you need to be level 36 to turn in that SVDS. So by that time I will have mechanic on level 3 and I will just be able to buy that part. But the rest of the parts I could get my hands on, so why not? Level 20 is what is it? Level 36 you need to be. I think it was 14 last wipe, this part, but now it's level 20 gunsmith. Other than that, it's pretty much the same. It's an M1A. You can get an M1A EBR, I think, barter trade with mechanic to be able to get that gun, because it was not on the market. Either it's banned from the market or blocked or it's just not available. I don't know. That people are not selling it, but that's one way of getting your hands on the M1A is a barter trade with mechanic. It's an M1A EBR, I think you can get, but you need to make some changes on it. You need the Archangel stock. That's that whole 10 thing here. You need the Holosun LS321 tactical device. And other than that, the micro T1 reflex sight, that's over there. So you need the AKMN adapter or rail to put it on. The T1 microscope, that's that little thing here under our big scope. And the big scope is again the Night Force. We used it before, I think on the DVL build. This is the same. So 34mm ring. There are a few options to get those rings. And then that Night Force. And then the Ultimac M8 rail to put the thing on. That is a barter trade with mechanic, I think. Don't overpay on the market. I remember from last wipe this little rail was a lot of money on the market. But it's a barter trade with mechanic. So let me see what level. Level 2 barter trade with mechanic. So you can get it from there. Way cheaper than on the market. Pretty much a copy from last year's build. And you need a magazine. So I have a 20 round here. I think you also have a 10 round for this. Haven't examined it yet, so. That's level 20. Then we come to a new one and also a bit of a special one in such a way. Gunsmith 21 has a requirement of 2 different guns. Let me see, the level requirement is 38. So it wants an M700 and an M1911 pistol, pretty much. It's a bit of a yeah, messing around. You can get an M700 from Jaeger for 1 beard oil. You can get, if you have a Deadly Slops beard oil sitting there, not found in raid or whatever, you can do a barter trade for an M700. This is not how it comes. It comes as a stock one. It asks for 3 specific parts, and those are all the Mod X parts. It wants the Mod X chassis, it wants the Mod X rail, and then also the real rail here. So the rail is sorted in 2 parts. Those 3 did it ask for, and then what did it ask for? a powerful optic, which pretty much means you need 2000 meter range, I think. So you need a 34 millimeter ring again, and then you put something up there, Smith & Bender 2556 for instance, will give you 2000 meter range. And it needs a silencer and a small magazine. I think I have a 5-rounder in there or something. Yeah, you have a 5-rounder, maybe the 12-rounder might work, or the 10-rounder. You can try it as long as the numbers are correct. We use the 5-rounder, I think. Let me have a look. 12-rounder gives you 7 less ergo. That might not be good enough. Let me see. The 10-rounder is also not. Yeah, you're probably gonna have to go with the 5-rounder. Would be my guess to get your numbers correct. But it only asks for these 3. So the chassis, the handguard rail thing here, and then the rear rail. That's for the 3 specific part that it asks for. Other than that, it's just about getting the ergo and the recoil going. Silencer, I used the wave adapter and then the wave suppressor, of course. And then the Smith & Bender I used as my scope. So that is the, let's say, Gunsmith number 21A. And B is the pistol, which is a 1911. There it is. What it does is for is the grip, the American Legend 423. That's that red grip thing here. Let me see what else it used. Oh yeah, the muzzle brake as well. What's it called? Anarchy Outdoors muzzle brake. That's what he specifically asked for, and it needs a tactical device. So then you need to put on this thing here. Trigger guard mount. So that's a little mount that you can put under here, and then a tactical device on it. Just use the TBL from Skier. That will do just fine. So the ring you need to put on to be able to put it on, obviously. Other than that, I don't think you need it. Yeah, it needed a magazine, but if you buy the pistol, it comes with a magazine. So that should do it for 21B, if you want to call it that. So it's the M700 plus this pistol build. And then for the last time, I think you are locked for a 21-hour period. And then if you are level 39, then yeah, you can pretty much build the one from last year. Last year it was Gunsmith number 16, now it is Gunsmith number 22, but it's pretty much the same build. So it's an M4 again. It needs a 60 round mag, which I don't have at the moment. I don't know, the other Gunsmith build worked with the 100 round mag. I don't know if we can make this work with the numbers. We probably can, but I'm not sure. But we might be able to make it work. What it specifically asks for is the MK10 rail, the suppressor, the 10 one, the NT4 10 one. It needs to be the 10 one. There's also a black one, but it needs to be the 10 one, and the MK10 rail mount here. Those are the 3 parts that it specifically asked for, and then the thermal scope, the Reaper, which is also a bit of a problem to get your hands on. There are 1 or 2 quests which actually give you a reward. I believe it's import and one of the Jaeger quests. One of the what is it? The sadist. The what is that? What's it called again? Let me see on the wiki. what's it called? The Huntsman Pod, I think it's the series that gives you one, I think. So that's probably one way of getting your hand on it. You do need the D-lock side mount to put the thermal thing on, and then you might need the eye scope to get enough ergo. I don't know yet. We will see once it's there. The MK10, you can just buy that handguard thing. And then the mount underneath. I put on a vertical pistol grip here for now, but that probably will not work. That will not be good enough. If I remember correctly, I think I built it with a 60 round drum mag, and then I think last year what I did was I put this close quarter foregrip on it, and then maybe the oh, I haven't examined that yet. Pretty much all the good parts you have. Yeah, you can use this red one, but you also have a black one of the air buffer tubes, and then you can of course use the Gen 2, which is probably the best stock, but I usually go for the CTR, and then the Grell S. Something like this, I think. I built it last year. And then on top of that, of course, the thermal with the thermal eye scope as well. That should probably work with the numbers if you build it like this, but there are other options. Maybe it also works with the 100 round mag, just like the other M4 build. Potentially it might use, you can use one of these FS. That's only gonna be one difference with the Grell, I think. Not even. Even the yellow one gives you 2 more ergo, and the Grell S gives you 2 more ergo in case you need 50 ergo with this build. But then of course the thermal side is gonna kill your ergo a bit, but the eye cup will give you +6 ergo, I believe. Let me check that. I already have the eye cup here. So this little thing here, the Reaper eye cup, gives you +6 ergo. So you can probably build it something like that. So you put on the 60 round drum mag, and then yeah, one of these sides, but I think I built it sort of to make it also look a bit okay. Build it like that, and then I used all the good parts pretty much. The Grell S, the black air buffer tube, and then CTR black or something. And then you throw on the thermal, and then it probably works. If not, we might have to mess around a little bit with it, but I think this is sort of how I turned it in last year. Or last wipe, I should say. Obviously with the thermal scope on top of it, with the eye cup on there as well. But for the other than that, it's pretty much like this, I think. Let me see how the wiki builds it. Oh yeah, yeah, you might need the Raptor charging handle here instead of the normal one. Gonna give you +3 ergo. You want 40 or more ergonomics. We have 50 at the moment, but that thermal scope is gonna kill it for quite a bit though. But we can get +6 from the eye cup. So with the eye cup we have 56 now if we build it like this. So then it can take a hit of 16. I don't think the thermal gives you 16 reduction, but I'm not sure. I think it's 14 or something, I don't know. 250 recoil, we have at the moment 170, so that's not a problem. 5 kilograms, we are fine with 3.4. At least a magazine of at least 60, which means that it works with 100 round as well. Doesn't say specifically 60 round, it says at least 60, so this works with 100 round as well. In case you can't get your hands on the 60 rounders, you use the 100 round mag. But then we're gonna have to get our hands on Then we might have to go for the RK2 is also gonna kill the Ergo even more. RK1 might get away with the RK1 maybe. I don't know. We can get +6 from the iCup. That's 42. But that terminal scope is gonna give us more than. Then we might have to go for the Gen 2 though. Okay, I don't know. I'll see if I get my hands on the if I will build it with a 100 round mag. I'm pretty sure with the at least 60 that's not a problem. By the time you are there, we are talking, what is it, level 38, 39, something like that? Level 39 you need to be for disc waste. So by that time you can get your hands on the 60 round mag. The flat one or the drum mag. I just go by what I remember from last year how I built it. And I think I sort of did something like this. 60 round drum mag with the CQB and the Grell S. And then maybe you can get away with the carbine buffer tube. And then CTR3 or the Magpul. Maybe you need the Gen 3. Maybe, I don't know. I think I built it like this, I'm pretty sure. 60 round drum mag, the CQB, the Grell S, and then the CTR. If it's not you might be able to use the that you have to use the RA to make it work. And then of course with the terminal on top of it. We'll see. That's sort of the only build where I'm still working on at the moment. But yeah, nothing to worry about. We're level 20 something, 26, 27, whatever. This is a level 39 build. All the rest is done. I've turned in 12, I've turned in 13. I have 14 completely built here, ready. 15 is completely built. 16 is completely built. 17, I'm missing the CRD thing. 18 is completely built. 19, I'm missing the dust cover. Then it is also ready. 20 is completely built. 21 completely built, as well the M700 as the pistol. And 22, I have the iCup already, I just need a thermal scope and then the rest can be built. I can pretty much turn on all 22 gunsmiths in, although we are only level 20 something. And that didn't even cost me that much. I think I was at 5.2 million, so about 600,000 I think it costed me to build all these guns here. Because I pretty much built them just before I started this video, pretty much. So that was it. Quite a long video probably, but yeah. Sometimes you see these people, they post like a video, here is Gunsmith 1, and then 3 days later, hey, here is Gunsmith 2. I just showed you all 22 at once. And then you can do them whenever you want, pretty much. Just make sure, especially, what was it, part number 12, the MPX, do not copy the wiki. You're stuck on that 10.5 inch bar for no reason. You can use the 14 inch barrel as well. Then you might have to make some adjustments, as I showed you, on your stock and your pistol grip, but you can turn it in. As you can see, I've just turned it in earlier. I have done 12 and 13, the next one is 14. I think. Oh yeah, I have. I'm stuck on 13 now because I need to wait 21 hours. And I probably have to do some quests as well because I know 13 was level 25 and I think 14 is level 27, but that's fine. I still have a few large XP ones waiting. But the MPX, as you can see, has a check mark. I have turned it in as I've shown you with the 14 inch barrel. So make sure, fiddle around with it. That's the whole point of this. All of these gunsmiths is get acquainted with it, get acquainted with some parts, with some adjustments. What the wiki says, it clearly states that as well. It's one of a possible build that they show you there. Sometimes when they ask for specific parts, you need to build it like they want. But other than that, you can use whatever you have. If you have a pistol grip sitting in your stash, which gives you more or less the same ergo point as whatever the wiki suggests, then you can use whatever you have sitting as well, of course. That will be it for this one. All the gunsmiths of patch 0.13, all 22 of them. Good luck building out there. I will just leave it at this. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.